My brothers, welcome to the Metal Man Podcast, featuring your host, Curtis Phillips. This is a solo episode today, so we're getting personal. I'm just gonna jump straight into it, man. What has been on my heart is a situation that I am seeing recurring, that is recurring, a pattern of, people I am encountering, people I'm young man and man that I am encountering, right? You have to want to help yourself. There are people available to help you. There's resources, there's books, friends, families, therapists, counselors, coaches, mentors, but you have to want to help yourself. What I'm seeing from us, and at points in my life, and maybe some points in my life with some things now, we don't want to help ourselves. We are way too comfortable staying in darkness. We're way too comfortable staying in our pain, staying in discomfort, staying in negative habits that are killing us. There was a situation recently with two young men I ran across. These young men I think they're young. They're good dudes, but they just are in some negative patterns. And no matter how much you talk to them, right? They can't hear the wisdom. They can't grasp onto the thing you're trying to tell them. And it's frustrating because, man, you're throwing your life away. And how long until we are able to turn a corner? How long until we are able to hear and change those habits and patterns that are killing us? So, man, you've been saying every year you're going to stop drinking. You're going to stop watching porn, right? You're going to stop cheating. You're going to stop smoking. But when it really comes down to it, you really don't want to stop. When it really comes down to it, you don't want to change. You are stubborn and set in your ways. And this is not to shame you. This is not to shame us, brothers. But this is accountability. At some point, we have to say enough is enough. At some point, we have to care about ourselves enough to want to change. Too much is riding on our shoulders to continue down the wrong path just because it pleases the flesh or is comfortable. Like we are called, one of our biggest fight we are called to is the battle within ourselves. Um, my friend tells a story. He came home one day and he's laying on the couch. And as he's laying on the couch, windows are open, clouds are outside. Well, as he's laying sleeping, it's dark. And as the clouds open up, new light rushes into the windows to wake him up as he's on the couch. And the light being so bright, he gets up to shut the light out. And he says, then the Lord spoke and said, you want to stay in darkness. Many of us, we want to continue doing the same things and expecting a different result. And we all know that that is a definition of insanity. Many of us, unfortunately, we want to stay in darkness. We don't want to change. And we are shutting light out. we're shutting out accountability. We're shutting out help. So yeah, life is messed up right now. Yeah, stuff didn't go wrong. Yeah, your cousin died. Yeah, your auntie died. Yeah, your grandmama died. Take your time to grieve. Don't get me wrong. Take your time to grieve. Take your time to grieve. But it's not okay. It's not okay to stay there, to stay in those habits. It's not okay to stay there. And we have this arrogance about ourselves that we have time. We don't have time. I record this today, a day that a Memphis Grizzly is lost. Some people are saying overdose. So we know 6 months ago, 6 months ago, that same brother got arrested. That brother was struggling. Today he overdosed. 29 years old. Had everything you would want. Money, fame, and it still didn't fulfill him. We are called for bigger and for greater. The Lord created Adam, and he set Adam, and he molded Adam, and he set us on a path of leadership, of wisdom, and battles. That's just the truth. That is just the truth. Man, we were born in the wild. Women were born in the Garden of Eden. Things are going to be hard for us. But for many of us, we are so comfortable. It's more comfortable for us to stay defeated. It's more comfortable for us to stay in the bad habits than it is to move. And in order for you to get where you want to go, into your purpose, into your calling, into your dreams, a lot of things that you do is going to have to change. And you think that you have time as if God won't move on. God is a patient God, but he's not forever suffering, right? You know, he'll be there for you way longer than people will, but he's not forever suffering. I'll give you an example. I believe it's Genesis 11. The Bible says Terah took Abraham, Lot, um, uh, Sarai, and they were headed to the promised land. They were headed to what was supposed to be the promised land. But when they got to Haran, they settled. So that tells you God came to Terah and said, "Hey, I'm gonna give you this promised land." But Terah settled. Terah gave up all the blessings that were meant for him for whatever was in Haran. I don't want to live that way, and I don't want my brothers to continue to live that way. I don't want the young man to continue to live that way. How many of us are giving up our lives, right? Because we think we got time, because we think somebody's going to come save us when people are actually trying to help you, but you don't want the help. You don't want the help. You're settling in your Haran, you're settling, right? You gotta, I told those young brothers, back to the story, you got a little bit of time. Why don't you just give yourself 1 year? Lock in for 1 year. You can do it, and the year's gonna pass anyway. You can do whatever you want. It's plenty of time for all the things of the world. It's plenty of time for women. It's plenty of time to smoke. It's plenty of time to get drunk. It's plenty of time to party, right? It's plenty of time for these things. These things are always here. But when it comes to your goals and your dreams and your purpose, we do have a finite amount of time on these things because we never know when we're going to die. We never know when God is going to move on. um, a lot of us, we keep saying every year and we know what to do, but it's that fear that's stopping us. It's the fear of the unknown. And that's where I'm not trying to shame you. I do want to relate because it is scary, right? But you got to understand, a lot of us right now, we in bondage. We are in bondage, right? The Bible talks about Israel being in Egypt, literal bondage. That's what Egypt means. And as God delivers them, they complain, want to go back to bondage. And that's us right now. You got people trying to help you, trying to give you wisdom, and you shutting it out. But then 10 years down the road, when you in the same spot or worse, now you a hate on the next man. And then, we are supposed to be in community. So people are waiting on what you have to offer. People are waiting on your purpose. You being in rebellion is holding somebody else up. It's holding your wife up. It's holding your kids up. It's holding your family up. You don't love yourself nor them to attempt to change, to at least take advice. You nod your head, do all this, and you run to your old patterns. God has told you what to do. God has given you a promise, and you stick and you are stuck in your comfort, your bondage. You are it, it's like Stockholm syndrome, man. You start to love the abuser. You getting abused every day, and you rather stick in that than taking a chance and changing. And like I said, the fear of the unknown, it is tough. Taking a step out on faith is not easy, but that's what we got to do, bros. Again, nobody is gonna drown with you. People want to help you, but they're not gonna drown with you. So with that, I think our purpose, us improving our lives and those that are around us, is contingent upon our yes. If God has told you something, bro, excuse me. If God has told you something, bro, bruh, you gotta trust him that he's gonna take care of you. If he's trying to bring you out of Egypt into a promised land, yeah, you're gonna have to go through a wilderness because he got to get the Egypt up out of you. He's got to get your old habits, your old beliefs, um, those old thought patterns out of you to get you into a promised land so you can sustain it. So even though you're leaving bondage, it's not gonna be easy, but you're going to a better place. Just think I get grieved for us because we don't want to change. And we know you got 40, 50 year old man, been dating a woman for 10 years, don't want to marry her. Then when she leave, life toe up. or when something happen, or you want to wait until y'all 70 to, right? It's too late. You've been drinking for 40 years. Now your organ's shutting down. Now you want to, and I think I'm frustrated, but I'm saying this with love to us and not just to y'all, to me. Like, this is like, imagine how God feels every day lending a hand and we just shooing his hand away. He's trying to help you. He's trying to pull you out. And he's like, I have something better for you. But you constantly telling him, okay, I got you. I got you. Yeah, I want this. I want this. But yet you continue to day after day choose your abuse. It's frustrating. And I think as man, we have to look at the situations when, we have to ask ourselves why our suicide rate so high, right? Right? Why is alcoholism peaking in man? Right? Why are we suffering from depression at such a high rate? My theory is a lot of it is because we don't want to change from our grandfathers to our fathers to us and ongoing. We don't want to take help. And there's a time for everything. Maybe in certain times, it's just not time for you to take help. But word says today, choose ye this day. If you hear, choose ye this day. So many of us, many of us have to give God that yes. Many of us, we gotta love ourselves enough to say enough is enough. Um, so I don't know. I'm gonna ask my producer here. I mean, what do you think? Like, why, from a therapist perspective, why do we remain in unhealthy patterns?
Learn behavior. Learn behavior starts in the home. Children learn by social factors, what they watch, what they observe. Their parents or caretakers, they observe that and they learn that. And that could ripple into teenage years, adolescent years, young adult, late adult years, and on until people decide that enough is enough and they want to change things.
Hmm. And what do you think, like, for us to finally get the breakthrough,
Mm,
like, and to reach healing, and
mhm.
what do we have to do? What are you seeing in your practice that is happening?
Just with the knowledge that I have, if you want a breakthrough, it starts with you wanting it for yourself.
Yeah.
No matter how much help someone can offer, if you don't want to get better yourself, then change isn't going to happen.
So no amount of therapy, no help.
It has to be what the person wants.
When do people usually get to the point of where they want help, where they want change?
Mm, when they notice things have just gotten really, really bad, hit rock bottom, that's what usually brings people to reach out and ask for help or accept the help that their loved ones have been
And I
tried to
think
offer.
that is where my frustration lies.
Mm,
Because especially for the people in my life who some people are in my head right now, the stories I mentioned,
mm,
bro, we don't have to hit rock bottom. We don't. But unfortunately, that's probably what's gonna have to happen until some changes. You don't have to hit rock bottom. We don't. Like you when people have been through what you've been through and been down the path and been where you want to go, you are a fool. You are a fool not to listen to that person. You a fool. And I understand destructive habits and patterns and learned behavior. I do. But there's also, and maybe, I am uneducated on this, but there's also a choice. We got to continue to choose this every day. We got to continue to choose to learn behavior every day. Once you get to a point to where you realize, once there's an intervention at some point, it goes from learned behavior to not knowing to ignorance of a better behavior to this is just a choice. For like for a woman
mhm,
who has a man that is stuck, who doesn't want to move,
mhm.
what do you suggest?
Pray for him. A woman of God's point of view. Pray for him. Support him. Don't criticize or judge. But as a woman of God, pray for him because that's the strongest weapon that we do have. And offer support when he needs it. And ask him what support looks like. It's not solving his problems for him, but offering the support when he asks for it. But prayer is going to be the strongest weapon if you find your partner stuck. Because you can want them to be unstuck all day long, but if they don't want to get unstuck, it goes back to the person. What do they want for themselves?
Yeah. Yeah. And so for everybody listening to this today, man, do not wait until you hit rock bottom to help yourself. You don't have to. It is only in my belief. Again, we got a therapist in the room, so maybe she'll disagree. It is my belief that wisdom can get you out of a lot of bad situations. You just got to take the wisdom. It shouldn't take you to be messed up. It shouldn't take us brothers to be messed up, no money, no purpose, no direction, strung out, addicted. The Delonte West situation to want to change. It shouldn't take us losing our wife and our kids, getting divorced to want to change. It shouldn't take you losing your chance at a basketball scholarship or career, especially if somebody sees you going down that path, right? And is, hey, like let's especially if they trying to be there for you, especially if they talking to you every day. Cause you thinking it's just that person talking to you. Now that's God talking to you. That's God talking. That's God reaching out to you every day. That's God giving you chance after chance. So when you go on Judgment Day and you gonna say, "Well, I didn't have this, I didn't have that," God gonna say no, and the screen gonna be right there. You remember when this person, that was me. You remember the next day when this person, that was me. It's too many. It's too many stories. I just seen a story the other day. A guy was talking about he was facing life in prison for killing people, and he had 3 chances on that same day to go home. But he kept telling the people no. That's what we doing with our lives. You got chance after chance after chance to make a different choice. Yes, learn behavior, but you done told the people trying to save you no 100 times. We gotta do brothers. We have to do better, brothers. Young man and brothers. Like, eventually we have to let stop. Fear has to have the shot clock hasn't run out on fear at some point. Fear cannot continue to take your life. Eventually we're gonna have to, even if we don't have a backbone, eventually we're gonna have to, a lot of people say do it scared. We got to do it terrified. You just gotta say yes. Close your eyes, winch your face up, and just take a step. But the bad patterns ain't gonna work. Bad patterns not gonna work.
Into that, what you said about fear, men and women of God find scriptures to combat that fear,
Yeah,
right? Because we can take a step and be scared in doing it, and that's fine. That's faith, right? We also need the scriptures to back us up, to give us that faith to jump when we're scared.
I agree with that.
Hmm.
I agree with that. One thing in my current situation, and I mean, you're gonna get scared. I'm scared all the time. But one thing I hold on to is I'm a big Old Testament guy. Um, it's just my favorite part of the Bible. So I look at scriptures of when God parted the Red Sea. They walked through. He defeated the Egyptians, and then 3 days later, they were thirsty and they complained against God. They came to bitter waters. They wanted water. They couldn't drink the water because they were bitter, and they complained against God, complained against Moses, wanting to go back to the place that they just been delivered from. Never popping in their brain that they serve the God of waters. They serve the God who has control of waters. So what did God do? He didn't, he heard their complaints. He made the water sweet so they can drink. So I try to hold on to things like that to be like, okay, if I can get through without complaining, he can make bitter water sweet. He can, he can turn situations around. I don't have to worry. In 3 days, I might be thirsty, but if I cry out to God instead of complaining against God, he can take care of me. And then I look at other things, other stories in my life where he has provided for me, right? Because the word helps you to see you. And now you can notice the pattern in the word and now you can see the pattern in your life of him showing up. So, but if we think we wiser than God, then but brothers, we need community and we got to take wisdom. And sometimes God will humble you by sending wisdom in somebody who you feel like shouldn't have it, or you feel like you shouldn't have to listen to that person or want to listen to that person. But they're giving you real game. And for whatever reason God is using to send that person, that's probably between you and God and your own beliefs and stereotypes or whatever. But God is going to use people to help you. So, but yeah, say this with love, brothers. You have to want to help yourself. When people are reaching out to you, trying to give you help, and they're trying to help you, and you find yourself getting angry at them, that's a red that is a sign right there that there's something inside of you that is resisting change. I'm gonna say it's a spirit, but whether it be, a spirit, just irritation, it's something it's something trying to keep you in darkness. But we gotta let the light in. Gotta let the light in. Any final thoughts?
Yes, I want to go back a little bit when you said, the Bible shows you the pattern of his character and the evidence of how faithful he's been. That's something that we can reflect on too with ourselves of what is the evidence in the outcome of this bad behavior that I've chosen, whatever that
Mhm,
is. What is that evidence and what is that outcome? What keeps being produced?
mhm,
And sit with that. Is this working for me? Is this working for my life? When someone reflects on that and wants different, when they really see the outcome of their choices and whatever they've chosen to cope with, that's a key indicator of maybe something needs to change, especially when you've been called to be a generational curse breaker and you're going to experience resistance in the spiritual realm, just like that irritation that you mentioned, that's going to happen because that is a spirit. That spirit is comfortable. It doesn't want to be called out. But like you said, God is going to use people to call out, especially people of God. He's going to use that person to call it out of you. And we have to be humble enough as people of God to accept that,
mhm. We
even
lie
when
to
it
ourselves
hurts.
real quick.
Mm-hmm.
We wanna stay comfortable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our minds are designed to keep us from pain.
Because our brain operates on patterns. When we try to start a new behavior, it has to be like newly learned by consistency. And if you want to unlearn something, which is possible, you have to keep unlearning that thing daily. But that all comes with, like you said, a choice and a decision that starts with us.
And we gotta make it.
Hmm.
So, brothers and podcast listeners, ladies are welcome to be okay. You gotta be ready to help you. Gotta be ready to take wisdom. You gotta be ready to accept that help and be honest with yourself. Your patterns are leading to abuse, isolation, addiction, right? Poverty, feeling lost, feeling stuck. For the young man who don't know where their patterns will lead, certain things you're doing, you ask yourself, is the way I'm living my life right now, do I know anybody that's doing the stuff that I'm doing is living a good life? I don't hear nothing about no rappers or no, because what you see from them is fake. You don't know their real lives. The people in my life right now who got a lot of women, who are abusing drugs, weed, alcohol, right? Gambling addiction. Are they up in life? Are they doing well in life? Would I want to be them? And if the answer is no, then you have your direction. Again, I'm not saying it's gonna be easy, but I'm saying at some point it shouldn't matter how hard it's gonna be to change. We should want the help. We should want to change. We shouldn't want to stay where we've been. So that's it for the Mel to Man podcast today. Thank you for showing up and coming. We have some special things ahead. Got some special things ahead. Shout out to my producer, my lovely wife, for joining in.
You're so welcome. Thank you
All
for
right.
having me.
Signing off. Until next week.